Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing well. I am Ritika and I welcome you all to our session 2020X Vision AI powered business outcomes with informed prompts. Today we will explore how informed prompts are reshaping decision making process and driving unparalleled success in the business landscape. Before we start our session, I request all the participants to please mention their name and their location in the comment section. We're also going to have a Q&A at the end of our session, and I encourage all the participants to have a active engagement. In case you have missed watching our past session, you can visit our YouTube channel and watch the on-demand videos of our past sessions over there. So we have started a series on 2020X Vision with AI, and till now we have completed 5 sessions on that. This is the sixth one which we are going to have today. And if you want to rewatch all these sessions are available on our YouTube channel. Shortly, I'll post a link in the comment section so you can access all these session videos. So let's get ready to gain invaluable insights and inspiration from our expert speakers. And let me quickly introduce you all to Vishendra Verma, who is the CEO and founder of Growth Sutra and also the host for our today's session. Over to you, Vishendra.
Thank you, Ritika. Thank you so much for taking us through the housekeeping notes and introducing the session. I'd like to welcome everyone to our LinkedIn Live session. This is the 17th in total sessions that we have done. We started these sessions towards the end of 2022, and we have been continuing running a session once a month since then. This is the 17th session, and since we begin with 2020X Vision with AI, after the feedback that we have received from audience, we thought to have a session on AI-powered business outcomes with informed prompts. In this session, we'll explore how artificial intelligence and large language models are revolutionizing the way businesses operate. We'll delve into the power of informed prompting. You might have heard a lot about prompt engineering. So this session is going to be all about informed prompts. That's a key skill that will unlock the true potential of AI for achieving explosive growth in the years to come. Before I begin, let me also invite the speakers that we have today. We have Dennis, and we also have Dean Noli. Dennis, Dean, would you like to talk about yourself?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know you have choices of which airline to fly, so we're glad you're flying this airline today. Dennis Roman, can't wait to get into the session. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Dean, over to you.
Hey, thanks, Dennis. Vish. Dean Nolly, founder, president, Sales Growth Imagination. I'm an outsourced VP of Sales and advisor, also principal at Blackstone and Cullen. When I leave out the audience today, I'll be heading out to a little golf tournament. So,
wait a minute, wait, Dean, show us that cup again. You got to slow down. Tell us, what is that cup?
This cup says the Masters.
And for those in our audience who don't play that sport, what the heck is the Masters?
Well, just watch it on TV. It's the most prestigious golf tournament there is, invitation only, and just a beautiful place to spend time.
Thanks, Dean.
Thank you so much, Dennis and Dean. That's a good introduction to have. So let me set the context, the content for the session that we are going to have. So I'm going to talk about informed prompting model. I'll share some examples and the approaches which are there. Then we are going to have Dennis, who is going to talk about best AI approach for vetting and onboarding new enterprise accounts. Dean is going to talk about how tools like KnowledgeNet.ai, Pitch59, Sales Reach, etc., can boost sales, map relationships, and engage buyers. And then I'm going to again cover some prompt approaches, some examples that are widely used by users across the globe. And then I'm also going to talk about IPQM. That's a model which has been lately talked about. And then we'll have a Q&A session. So if you have any questions for the speakers, do share your questions in the comment box on the LinkedIn Live page. We'll pick up your questions from there, and then we'll ask these questions to the speakers. All right. If you look at the AI revolution, the AI industry value is actually projected to increase by over 13x over the next 7 years. And if you look at the growth of ChatGPT itself, so ChatGPT gained 1 million users in less than 5 days, in less than a week actually, and they reached over 100 million monthly users by early 2023. So that's the kind of explosive growth that we have seen in the AI industry since the launch of generative AI tools. AI industry revolution is seen similar to the industry revolution or the .com internet revolution. And if you look at the chart, this is by Seeking Alpha, and if you look at the journey of generative AI revolution, it's very much similar to the .com internet revolution that we have seen earlier. So AI is no longer a futuristic concept. It's a reality shaping businesses today. From automating tasks to generating creative content, AI is actually making waves across various sectors. So early adopters are reaping the benefits, and those who lag behind risk falling prey to disruption. LLMs are like powerful engines. They have immense potential, but they need the right fuel and direction to function optimally. And here, informed prompts act as that fuel and direction, guiding the LLM to generate the information and complete tasks that benefit the businesses the most. So mastering prompting is the key to unlocking the true value of AI for any businesses. So if we look at, why informed prompts, and the metaphor that I thought of is a treasure map. So treasure maps in itself are ineffective unless you have, learned the tricks and tools to navigate it through. Similarly, LLMs, though they are trained on large amounts of data and can perform a variety of natural language processing tasks, but they are not effective unless we know how to prompt. Right, so not all prompts are created equal. Even like if you are using generic prompts that fed into LLM, that will likely yield generic results or mediocre results. But if you look at informed prompts, they would take into consideration specific business goals and knowledge into account. They are like tools for treasure hunt. So this is how we see, and if we deploy these informed prompts effectively, by crafting clear and concise prompts, these LLM, with the right context, you can ensure it delivers exceptional outcomes that propel your business forward. So you will be able to get the right business outcomes through the effective approach to these prompts. So that's about the informed prompts. We have devised a model, informed prompts model. We call it as PRISM. So PRISM actually stands for purpose, role, insights, scenario, and method. While there are LLMs which are very different in terms of their capabilities, in terms of their strengths, their weaknesses, and all LLMs would actually work differently in different scenarios. There couldn't be a single model that can apply to all, but at least we can aim to have a model that can actually cover all the different elements which are needed for effective prompting. So these are the 5 elements that I think that are important. Purpose is the key. So you have to start by clearly defining the overall purpose or objective of the prompt. What is actually the end goal of that you want to achieve from that task that you want to have. The second element is the role. It's also effective if you define a role or identity or persona that should be assumed when responding to the prompt. So if you are asking LLM to assume a role, before they can share the results. Then comes the insights. Insights actually important in terms of providing any pertinent data, information, or any trends that you should inform the response. So that actually help you to get more effective results. The other element is the scenario. What is the situation you are into? What is that situation or problem that we are trying to solve? So identifying that specific business challenge or area you are focusing on is key. And if there are any data and information related to that situation, then you can also share that data and insights or trends as part of that scenario. And lastly is the method. And method would include the rules or instructions, a specific instructions that you want LLM to follow. It could be a tone, what kind of tone or language that should be there in the messaging. There are certain areas of ethics that should be followed. Any biases that you want them to avoid, so you can share that. Apart from that, what should be the call to action? So in the method, you can share all these various instructions. So while we have these 5 elements, we should also be we should be also considering measure, iteration, and fine tuning. We should be measuring the responses that we are getting. There is an iteration that is needed, and then on the base of the result that we have got, we should keep on fine tuning our prompt model so that we can get more effective results. Let me share an example of how Prism can be used in action. So this is one of the case study that we had actually deployed. So we actually wanted to build a comprehensive sales strategy for a B2B SaaS company. And this sales strategy is primarily to drive new business growth and to help them achieve annual revenue targets. So it actually involved not only the journey that we are going to have from today to next 2 years or 3 years or even 1 year, but at the same time we also wanted to have some more information on what are the other elements that the company should be mindful of when they are putting together a sales plan. So we suggested a role of VP of sales for a rapidly growing B2B SaaS company. Then there are insights that were shared. These are all on the basis of the research that we have. So there's a 20% annual growth that we are seeing in the target industry. Then there's a situation wherein we close Series B funding, and now the executive team is looking at ambitious 30% increase in new sales booking target. And then we set a couple of methods, a couple of rules, which are either in terms of the channels that we should be taking into consideration, prospecting tactics, account management approaches, any historical data that we have, we could fed to the LLM. So this is the model that we have used, and on the basis of this model, we were able to generate sales strategy document with sales forecasting for 2 years for that company. And of course, once you have that data, there are certain iterations that are needed, but then you have a defined template, a specific template, which is much more acceptable by the senior management, rather than a document where you have not done your groundwork. So that is one of the model that I talked about. We are going to have some more approaches, which I'm going to be sharing later on. But let me now invite Dennis, who is going to talk about best approach for betting on new accounts. Dennis, over to you.
Thank you very much, Vish. Great beginning. That was a very nice orientation and baseline for our audience. Yeah, I'm delighted to be able to get into this today. Okay. My contact info, my business model, everything that I do is about sales enablement, and especially now using AI. So helping sales teams locate potential opportunities and helping marketing teams craft messages throughout their content that would be attractive to for these opportunities. Okay. AI has happened very quickly. Vish was kind enough to show us a kind of metaphor there for how it's progressed. I picked one out of a hat yesterday, day before yesterday. So, Taxi Driver, if any of you have seen a movie, or even if you haven't, you may want to, that came out in February 8th, 1976. I'll bet some of you weren't even alive in 1976. Anyhow, and we also had gas cars, phone booths, credit cards, physical maps. All of that was true. Fast forward, and natural language processing came up in 2017. ChatGPT came up in 2024. Now we're here today. Well, now we have Uber drivers, Teslas, iPhones, Bitcoins, and Waze maps. All of that changed. Do we still have credit cards? Yeah, but now do we still have phone booths? No. Do we still have physical maps? Probably not so much. So it all happened very quickly. And I'm bringing this up for a reason about what are informed prompts. If you didn't make your numbers last year, and hardly anyone did, you didn't make your numbers for any of a variety of reasons, probably none of which included you didn't work hard enough. I'm sure you worked damn hard last year, but you might not have made your numbers because your boss gave you a turkey. I don't mean a physical turkey. He gave you an account that maybe was not going to lead anywhere. So I always try to get my audience thinking, if they want, how would you go about picking accounts? And that's what the next couple of minutes will kind of cover. So what are informed prompts? Okay. Providing detailed, specific, and contextual information to make the results more meaningful. Okay, I could either say the Great Pyramids of Egypt are located in Giza. Okay, great. But through AI, I can produce a result with 16 paragraphs long about the Great Pyramids of Giza that makes it come alive. And most of us, I think, are thinking, which is not inaccurate, that informed prompts are how I best articulate enough information in my request to AI to make the result. And that is accurate. That is an accurate thought process. But there's three pieces to it. The universe of data that the model is going to work from, and what the tool is itself, the NLP model. Let's take ChatGPT as an example. And the third part is your smart prompts. So your smart prompts are mostly what we're talking about today. But I do want to anticipate something that Dean's going to share with us later, which is solutions and tools, most of which follow the your smart prompts approach. Although he also is going to introduce one that has all the universe of data coming with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I'm going to bring that one to the fore right now. What about informing your model with your smart prompts and the requisite baseline data as well at the same time? Okay, a Form 10K in the United States provides an overview of a company's financial health, etc. Okay, every public company in the US has to produce a 10K. It's much more detailed than an annual report. 180 pages is not at all unusual. So imagine you got your hands on a 10K. And if you want to know how to get 10Ks, you could write to me and I can tell you how to do that. But let's assume you got your hands on a 10K. And I asked you, or your boss asked you to read the 10K. Well, it's 180 pages of text. It's like reading your tax returns. It's worse than going to the dentist. Okay, so there's a 10K, 180 pages. Okay, fine. So I took a 10K for a company called whose ticker is ARCB. It stands for ArcBest. So imagine your boss comes to your desk in the morning and said, okay, I want you to chase or go after ArcBest. First thing you'd probably say is, what? What's an ArcBest, right? So assuming your boss knows what he's doing or she's doing, and he told you to go after ArcBest, what might you do in order to figure out what your approach would be? My recommendation would be go grab a 10K for ArcBest and shove it into ChatGPT. Just go to ChatGPT, paste the 10K into ChatGPT, and start asking these kinds of questions. So I did that. I said to ChatGPT, here's the 10K for ArcBest. What business issues might they be experiencing? Instantly, it came back with a list of about 10 business issues that they might be experiencing or are experiencing. And it did that by reading 180 pages in a blink of an eye and gave me an answer. So then I said, are their cost performance over time in line with their revenue performance? If you want to go look for a company to call on, find a company whose revenue is going down and costs are going up. They have two terrible problems: revenues going down, costs going up, unsustainable business models. So I said to ChatGPT, without repeating anything from already in the conversation, are their cost performance going up? Of course, ChatGPT knows I'm talking about ArcBest. I don't have to tell him that again. I'm in the same conversation. Then I said, after I got those answers, who are their major competitors and how are their respective costs and revenues performance going up compared to ArcBest? And then can I see a graph of the performance? So all of that's achievable in about 5 minutes. The answers are coming. They're coming because my prompt is informed. And I gave the ChatGPT the data that I wanted it to use to figure out these answers. Nice, huh? Nice. So for me, research is looking across these areas to find a company to go after. I could have found ArcBest on my own by looking at which country do I want to go after, which sectors, which industries, which companies in those industries, which lines of business. All of that is easily producible so that you can figure out who's going to be the best guy to go after. And the reason for it is this. Before AI, the classic funnel was like this: fat at the top and narrow at the bottom. But when you bring in AI, you can flip that on its head. Only stick ArcBest like companies, ones that are already relatively pre-qualified by using the 401k ChatGPT kind of combo, and only stick in the 50 records at the top, not the 10,000. Pretty good, huh? And accounting is the language of business. And if you skimp or skip on research, your effectiveness is going to suffer. And where any of these models come in, for my world, it's an enormously effective, time-saving, and effective and practical tool for separating companies that I want to go after from companies that I don't want to go after. I hope that helps. Okay, Vish, back to you.
Thank you, Dennis. So I have a couple of questions for you, but I'll take that once we hear from Dean on what he has to share. I'll just move to Dean now. So Dean is going to be talking about boosting sales, map relationships, and engage buyers. He has 38 plus years of experience spanning startups, small firms, and Fortune 500 companies. Dean brings a unique perspective. He's guided disruptive Silicon Valley ventures, built and sold his own company, and led high-growth PVC-backed software firms. Dean, I actually gone to your profile and I found it very interesting, and this could be of interest for the audience that has joined today. So I thought, let me give you a bit of introduction here myself. So over to you now in terms of what you have to share with the audience in terms of the tools and the insights.
Here we go. Hey, good morning. I appreciate that introduction, Vish, and Dennis as well. You'll hear a common thread this morning from me. I like to surround myself with a lot of smart people. It doesn't take much for me to be around smarter people. So, um, and I think in my background, if you look it up in Webster's, I like to consider myself an anomaly. Some people will, kind of consider me an enigma, but I promise you they mean the same thing. One's a little more positive than the other. Dennis kind of challenged me with this slide. This is a busy slide. It should look confusing, but these are the tools that I personally work with that are productivity partners around, framework, the operating system, the EOS model, 90 in terms of the calendar and the data collection. It addresses all aspects of people from assessing, training, recruiting. And when you get to infrastructure, if you want to get lost, it's a great place to start when you get into CRM, the support providers, lead gen from inbound, outbound, social media, web optimization, search engine. The best part for everyone on this call today, I'm a sales guy. So what I'm going to do is talk about how we're going to effectively engage with clients and how we grow the business. The part with these tools that I personally stress, it's addressing all aspects of sales methodology, sales process, the analytics, and the organization. Dennis asked a great question the other day. He said, I'm just curious, why are you picking these tools? And I'm like, because I actually use them. And I'm also blessed to be a principal with Lee Blackstone at Blackstone and Cullen. When we get into that part, we're going to talk a little more around some customization around sales marketing and other solutions. What you don't want to be is this guy on the left. My friend Michael Albright gave me that picture, and that's probably looked like a lot of us in the past. But when you take a look at these tools, you're going to see that they are affordable for SMB today. And that's with KnowledgeNet, Sales Reach, Pitch 59, and Sales Play Builder, all using AI prompts, all using different tools. When we get to Blackstone again, we're going to get more into custom development around a lot of complex solutions. Now with KnowledgeNet, when you start looking at KnowledgeNet, you really need to take a look at the brain itself. And, Ben Victorica, who's a phenomenal partner, again, a lot smarter than me. So I wish he were actually doing this slide. But when you look at the brain, think about all the things you're trying to do to connect with customers, emails, meetings, LinkedIn, warm introductions, personality intelligence, competition intelligence. That's all the things that can be incorporated into KnowledgeNet. When you look at the data sources, there's more than 15 data sources, 280 million contacts, 73 million businesses. I mean, when you start looking at what you can use with LinkedIn and email to find the customers, you can do it on size, meaning number of employees. You could do it on revenue. You could do it on the contacts you want to engage with. You could do it on vertical or industry. In my case, as an example, being a sales guy, I've gone out and done a search with Ben and some others to find every founder-led SMB in my general area that don't have a sales leader, as an example. You can do this geographically. You have a lot of different ways to do that at a local municipality and or from a zip code and a radius perspective. But at the end of the day, you're able to find the clients more effectively. And at that point, that's when KnowledgeNet really starts working, because you start looking at what is the relationship mapping. And then they also put some personality traits behind that part to help you, not to mention all the data you're going to capture with name, title, email address, phone number. But again, I use this myself, like on the founder side. Another example, I looked at exit planners. I wanted to find all the exit planners in a specific area. I was able to find 11 exit planners. When Ben and I looked at the mapping of the connections, I found two gentlemen that I was already connected to, and I didn't know it because when we got connected, they weren't exit planners and I wasn't doing this. So this is one of the most exciting tools. Again, when you want to talk to prompt and using a number of different AI tools, KnowledgeNet is the real deal here. Again, affordable for low end. When you get to Sales Reach IO, Josh Feedy, this one is one of the cooler ones. I use the tool. Basically, think of it as a digital library, put in all of your assets, and being able to then go and effectively touch those clients with AI, and also being able to put generic or customized videos. You've probably seen Josh on my LinkedIn page. You'll see him about every 2 weeks. But this, when you talk about effective engagement, again, a great way to touch a client and to start building those relationships. When you get to Pitch Card, Pitch Card's one of my favorite. With Jeff Bitten and what this has done, this is one of the most effective tools. And with leveraging AI today and future versions, you're actually able to do your elevator pitch and you make it easy. You can record it, you'll have it written. It makes it easy for you to have other people refer you to other referral partners and or to customers. I use this daily. You have a QR code on the phone that they can scan. But one of the cool parts for me and folks that know me, I get a little anal retentive on details. And the analytics on this is off the charts. I looked at my analytics this morning and I had 15 more people share my business card via Pitch 59 since last night. So pretty excited about that part. But again, a very affordable and effective way to touch clients and leave that lasting impression. Now, when you get to say Sales Playbook Builder AI and Drew Williams, this one, believe it or not, this is his artwork and some of his slides, but he's a whiteboard guy. And when you look at using prompts and what we can do with Framework, which is a service that we do from Sales Acceleration, it's akin to what EOS would do, similar for the entire business. When you look at the playbook and what we can build out with ChatGPT and the prompts, you're going to get a customized playbook, as an example, that is something that you would expect in a Fortune 100. And
Hold
you're
that
able
up
to
again,
do
Dean.
it.
Hey, Dean, hold that up again, please. Yeah, there you go. Better. What is that you're holding?
This is a playbook that's generated with Sales Playbook Builder AI. And in this, you have two different ways to approach this. One, if you go through an engagement where you're going to collect all the data and your infrastructure is working okay, your sales organization's in place, you really need that strategic playbook for the long haul. You're able to go through a process with your data and then with ChatGPT and Drew Williams with the prompts, you're able to build out a playbook that in the past would really only be affordable for corporate America. Now you can take this down to SMB. Now, let's say that a business doesn't want to spend the investment of time in that engagement because it is a lot of work to get that custom tool. The beautiful part is Sales Acceleration's dealt with over 5,000 SMBs, and the data we have collected and what Drew has helped build with SX and the Firefly Group, we have a generic or standard playbook that still is built off the data. So again, a lot more affordable version, a lot less investment of time. But again, just a tool that's off the charts, and with it being affordable for SMB, it's redefining what you can do in that space. Now I'm going to switch gears a little. If you're in the Atlanta, Georgia, realistically US or global, you've heard of Blackstone and Colin, Lee Blackstone, Michael Albright, and the rest of that team. When I say people are a lot smarter than me, that entire organization is. And I'm blessed to be a principal with Blackstone and Colin. But with Blackstone, you start getting into custom development and going to that next level, not just on sales and marketing, but across the board. So, one of the areas with Blackstone, We really focus on the Gartner AI Opportunity Radar, and you're really mapping out your AI ambition. But here's the part that separates Blackstone and Cullen. We've done it. These are use cases across every aspect of sales and marketing that has already been done from Blackstone and Cullen. This is just the sales marketing, but they go across every aspect of your businesses. One of the things, just to wrap up here, with the Blackstone part, there is a call that is every Thursday, and they're no charge. I can get lost on them sometimes when they get a little technical, but I can tell you, there's no charge. Lee Blackstone has made this available to anyone viewing. They're welcome to join. Every week, the subject matter changes. Extremely effective AI calls.
Okay. And Dean, they can join by scanning the code that you shared in the slide.
I'm sorry?
They can join by scanning the code that you shared in the slide, in the previous slide.
That is correct.
Right. Okay.
And they can reach out as well, because the other thing that Lee threw out, and it really goes with all of these, with Jeff Bitton, with Pitch 59, Ben Vecarica, with Drew Williams, with Playbook, and with Josh Feedy. They're all open to having a conversation with me and anyone on the call to talk about how we can look at these solutions. Lee's kind of taking it to another level. He's allowing people to join the calls that are normally somewhat closed. At the same time, Blackstone is willing to do a no charge consulting engagement for about an hour just to explore and do a discovery. So again, with Blackstone, while you saw the use cases on sales and marketing, you need to think of Blackstone holistically across every aspect of your organization and every function within your organization. So thank you very much. But the just one last point. When I say affordable, this is the part that, really resonates. Think of the pitch card. I've asked personal friends, business friends, what would you pay? Some of the numbers people get up to, are pretty big numbers. This pitch card is $15 a month per user. I've already had 150 shares to referral partners or customers in the last 2 weeks. I mean, it's a no-brainer tool. If you look at KnowledgeNet, you look at the power of that data, the search engine, the relationship mapping, and the personality. You start at $30 a month subscription plus usage. I mean, it's really unbelievable. But again, for an SMB, very affordable. You get to Josh Feedy, and you think about that entire buy-in experience and sales engagement with the digital library, incorporating in video snippets as well. That's a subscription of only $99 a month. Again, something that's now affordable for small businesses. And, with Playbook, these kind of playbooks, we've all seen them probably in corporate America. It's not uncommon that people have paid $500,000, $1 million. We're talking about on the standard playbook, getting in for as low as probably $15,000. And the customized, you're probably around a $75,000 engagement with the playbook, just based on all the time and the data collection. But again, these aren't the numbers that you would normally expect. But that's the beautiful part about AI, the prompts, and all the technology evolution. It's coming downstream for affordable solutions for small businesses.
Thank you so much,
you,
Dean.
Vish.
It's awesome to hear about all these tools. I'm sure all these tools are very effective in terms of the entire sales life cycle. But just to ask you, since you are also using these tools, so how do you think informed prompts can make the usage of these tools effective? Do you see any best practices that you have been using or that can be deployed to make your usage of any LLM
Yeah, there's multiple between KnowledgeNet, what Blackstone does, but the one that resonated with me for this presentation is with Sales Playbook Builder. If you look at the entire structure of building that playbook, it's based on the customer's data that you collect. Then you're with ChatGPT, you're educating, you're doing the framework, you're doing the prompts, and you're doing that for every aspect of that playbook. And then, so that one is probably the one that stands off the charts as it's really enabled an affordable tool that an SMB in the past simply would not have seen as the right investment.
Okay. And, in terms of any challenges that you have seen,
Well,
any risk or pitfalls to avoid when relying
Well-
on AI-generated sales content or insights?
Well, I just hope that when people use Pitch 59, that it doesn't take them 68 times to record their own video like it did me. But that's really a more derivative of me. But I will tell you that that part, I think you have to learn the tools. And what I learned very quickly, and Dennis, when he challenged me the other day, it was a great question. Until I started using them and applying them and needing to represent them, I wasn't that good with the tools, and I really couldn't represent it. But once you start living the tools, using the tools, and you watch how they help customers, it resonates. And that would be the part is you got to take the time to learn the tools.
I agree. And there's a lot of iteration that goes before you get, familiar with the tool and the tool gets familiar with you. So,
Exactly.
Dennis, I have a couple of questions which I said I'm going to ask you. Let's proceed together. I fully agree, Dean. What are some of the key considerations, Dennis, enterprises should keep in mind when evaluating AI solutions for vetting and onboarding new accounts?
So there's a continuum of accounts. We can create the continuum using different different points of view. For instance, this is one of the best ones that I found. Many companies, when they're organizing their go-to-market lists, will often group companies by market capitalization, so that Tesla ends up in the same category as Apple, or if you get the idea. I have found that to be not the best approach. And I have found that it's much better to group companies by amount of revenue they generate. And one might wonder why that would be the case, because it's so easy to group companies by market cap. While market cap's moving, I know, every day based on the sympathy in the market for the client, but companies spend money according to how much revenue they make. So grouping companies by revenue is going to get you behavior that's very similar by companies on how they're going to go about making decisions. So market cap is really, it's meaningful, but that's just a baseline example. And then as far as working with your teams, I have found this seesaw model to be an interesting one. And sales management can be thinking this way. So in the beginning, I used Google for everything. And in 2023, I started to use ChatGPT. And in 2024, I almost never go to Google first, right? I am always going. So if your team is still here, it's a great litmus test. Everything I'm doing now practically is going to an AI tool in order to help me figure stuff out. There's a lot of things like that I could contribute I know we don't have a lot of time, Fish.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great insight. And since you talked about the sales team, so how do you see the role of account executives and relationship managers evolve as AI becomes more deeply integrated into enterprise sales operations?
So the sales manager, in my view, is half coach and half business person, right? They got to hit the numbers. They can't spend frivolously. They ought not send their accounts out chasing 10,000 accounts when they could rather send them out chasing 50 accounts, right? So that's the business side. But on the coaching side, they got to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Have you taken any AI classes in the last 3 weeks? What have you learned about AI? And what practical things are you doing? And the coach is continuously pushing him in that direction. Like, build a library of the most effective prompts across the team. Each team member would be shoving their effective prompt. I had a good experience with this, and keep that catalog across all of them. Now, of course, the sales teams may be reticent to share their best prompts with the rest of the team. You got to manage that, right? We're in this for the good of the company, not for the good of the individual. So building up a category of effective prompts that it's not just the boss saying it, it's other people on the team, because they feel empowered by their ideas getting across and being used by the rest of the team.
I agree. Dean, I'm coming to you now. You talked
Sorry.
about so many, right? The initial slide, you talked about many tools which are now available for the SMBs. So, how would you recommend, how these SMB sales leaders or founders, they should go about adopting a tool that can help enable their sales?
I think they have to be open to getting an extra set of eyes and ears on the business. It's okay to say, I don't know. I mean, that's what I do myself. I think you need to go through the process. Don't be afraid to try some of the new tools. You may not apply it the way that you had planned initially, but you can learn from that and then you can perfect it. I see a lot of folks trying to stay away from, the technology, and I get it. But if you just take the time, you look out and find the best practices and use cases in the different verticals that are similar or size companies, hopefully that'll make it a little more comfortable. But I think you really have to start with, trying to get people that are smarter than you that can help you and having a conversation. I think that's the best starting point.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I think it's also important to look at the entire sales journey and what incremental effort that we can bring in through these AI tools. That's something they can start with. I mean, if they intend to deploy these tools.
Yeah, no,
Right.
without question. And I think that when you start looking at the different tools, especially think of some of these tools similar to the CRM or integration or SEO or lead gen. When you're working with those tools, you need to get your infrastructure in place, because at the end of the day, you may be hiring the best people that have the will, the skill, they're doing, but if you don't have that right infrastructure and tools in place, then you're not going at this in the smartest and maybe an easier way, because ultimately what you're trying to do is, how do you get into more customers, make an impression, and actually make a difference and help them? And I think that's the key.
I agree. Okay. So, at the moment, I do not see any questions from the audience, but if they have, do share your questions, and we'll ask our distinguished speakers that we have today. In the meantime, I'm going to talk about some last, some of the slides that I have for ending the session. So let me quickly go through the approaches that are also prevalent in the industry. So I talked about Prisma framework, which is very structured, comprehensive, and that can minimize bias. It's normally used by, it can be normally used by founders, leaders, or building strategy who are, giving a strategic direction to the efforts that they are putting in. Example I have already shared, but one of the limitation that's with this framework is there's a lot of effort that is needed to deploy this framework. The other approach is the pre-built templates and framework. This is what Dennis also talked about. So he has a couple of pre-built templates and frameworks, and it could be good. These framework with your team, because that actually gives a early start, a good starting point. It can focus on specific needs or goals. This is good for early adopters. For example, write a social media post on new product launch. These pre-built templates are heavily relied on LLMs capabilities, and there's a limited creativity which is involved. That's a limitation that is normally seen. The third approach is more conversational interfaces. It can be question-based, it can be exploratory, open-ended, and this is actually on the basis of the situation where the desired outcome might not be entirely clear upfront, and that needs some exploration. So users who would like to have a creative thinking and new perspective that normally deploy that approach. I also use this approach many of the times. So, for example, the kind of questions which I may have: how can you improve our marketing strategy for millennials? If you have a defined target audience, then how we want to pivot our strategy to that target audience, and then what could be the trade-offs we should be in deciding between, say, option A and option B. So these are some of the questions, examples that are normally used in conversational interfaces. This may require more guidance for the LLM. So obviously, the LLM's capability may restrict the use of conversational interfaces, but there are LLMs which are actually built on conversational interfaces, and they work effectively in that model. The other approaches which are relevant is the example-based prompting. This is normally this is applicable normally in those situations where it's easier to show the LLM what you want rather than describe it verbally. So you already have an example of a result that you want LLM to follow and create a similar kind of a result. So users who have existing examples can actually deploy this example-based prompting. The example could be a successful social media ads targeted towards a specific demographic. So if they have already seen that this social media ad is effective, they can use they can share the elements which are effective in that social media post, and they can use as an example to kind of create another post which is similar to this successful post or ad. But what is important is highlighting effectiveness of example is key for this example-based prompting. The other one is the instructional and procedural, wherein you have certain defined tasks that require step-by-step guidance. So users who are looking for guidance or want to learn about certain processes or steps involved in tasks, so they normally use the instructional and procedural set of approach. For example, provide a detailed step-by-step tutorial on how to create an investor's pitch. So that LLM could provide you a step-by-step process in terms of building a tutorial and creating an investor pitch. So these are some approaches which are prevalent and have been used by various users. One of the approach which has also talked about HBR and I thought could be relevant for this session is the internal prompt query alignment model, PQAM. This is more in terms of enhancing the overall quality of and effectiveness of prompts. This actually includes building a prompt library. Dennis did talk about having a prompt library, and it's a good tool to kind of have a it's kind of a good approach to have a prompt library which is pre-built for tailored tasks and industries. Then there's a customization options that can be that can be actually given to employees to align prompts with their objectives. And there has to be a feedback loop for continuous improvement after deploying AI models, including assessing output and refining prompts. So this approach could be effective, especially if you are deploying LLM for sales and marketing team in your organization. So you can actually follow prompt query alignment model in order to make an effective prompting. So benefits of effective prompting are, one is focuses on LLM capabilities. The clear prompts ensure LLM utilizes its strengths towards your specific goals. That helps to improve accuracy and relevance. When you have defined the context and data, that increases the accuracy and relevance of the LLM outputs. Enhance creativity and innovation. So LLM can actually use its vast knowledge base to generate creative ideas based on your prompts. And then boost, last but not least is the boosting efficiency. So effective prompts minimize ambiguity and lead to more efficient use of LLM's capabilities. So that's, these are some of the benefits of effective prompting. And I'm sure users who have been using, various LLM models, they might have seen a need of informed prompts and, why we need to deploy informed prompts in the processes that we have been following. I think this session might have given you those insights and some of the practical takeaways that you can deploy in the sales and marketing processes that you have. I'd like to thank Dennis and Dean who joined and shared their insights. But before I move forward, I'd like to talk about the next session that we plan to have. This next session is on AI-powered sales intelligence or intelligent sales. This title actually nicely encapsulates both the specific applications of AI-driven sales intelligence as well as the broader concept of intelligent AI-augmented sales capabilities. And this session is going to cover the transformative potential of AI in sales, emerging trends and innovations driving AI-powered sales intelligence, and its strategic benefits of integrating AI across the sales life cycle. So do confirm your participation for this session that's going to take place on 16th of May, Thursday at the same time, 6:30 p.m. IST and 9 a.m. EDT. Do share your comments or questions that you have for the speakers on the LinkedIn event page. We'll be more than happy to address these questions with you. But thank you so much. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Dean, for taking your time out and sharing your insights here. And yes, I agree with you, Dean. Let's grow sales together. That's that's something which everyone should. Sales is a collaborative effort, and we all are here to help the SMB founders and sales leaders, growth leaders from enterprise and industry. So thank you so much for joining this session. And thank you, Dennis and Dean.
You betcha. Thank you, Vish. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on the 16th of May. Thank you, Dean. Talk to you soon.
Yep. And thank you, Ritika, as well. Ritika has been managing the logistics of the event. She's in the background, but thank you so much, Ritika, for all the help.